be free to some extent from the limitations of what we call the cuchifrito circuit.
Ray Barretto took Mongo Santamaria's place in Tito Puente's band. Later, Barretto would record a number of successful hits and tour the world with his own band. He grew up listening to his mother's Machito albums by day and jazz radio programs by night.
I was a very sickly child. I'm an asthmatic, been an asthmatic all my life, and I spent much of my time out of school. In some respects, I think it worked for me as well as against me. I'm a second-year high school dropout, and so books were my escape. And I wasn't very physically able to, play baseball or do things. I spent a lot of time home.
Barretto thinks that salsa as well as jazz are part of a universal musical idiom. His art, he says, is not defined by culture, but by his soul and spirit. Still, Barretto feels that mainstream America has ignored the force of Latin music.
I don't think they're ready to deal either with the intricacies or the fire of our rhythms. And I think they have a hang-up in terms of language. And it takes, I think, a little bit more sophisticated head to deal with language barriers. The people, for example, who are into classical music, who do not understand a word of Verdi or Wagner and the operas, go to the operas anyway and support them and enjoy them. Because it's the sound, it's the beauty of the music, and phonetics play a minimal role. And the European audiences are pretty much into that kind of head where they don't understand the language, but if the rhythm gets them, and if the words sound good, then they fully open their arms to you. And it doesn't happen here in the States.
Does that hurt you? Does it bother you? See deep down to Ray?
Yeah, born and raised here. I mean, I am very strong about my heritage and my roots, and I feel like a Puerto Rican American. As a Puerto Rican, I'm a citizen of the United States. I find that the resistance of non-Latinos to this thing is a little bit political, a little bit racist.
Well, we were shooting tonight. There you were doing your band, and there was Celia, and of course that's happened before for you. But also there's David Byrne from the Talking Heads. Is that a little unusual for you?
Or, yes, it is.
How do you relate to that?
Yeah. Well, as long as they're not asking me to drastically change what I play, David's accommodating his style to fit in with us. If it were the other way around, I don't know that I could do it. I've recorded with people like the Rolling Stones, the Bee Gees, and the Average White Band, as well as most Latin groups and Dizzy Gillespie and all the jazz groups. So, one thing that I know I can do is accommodate myself to whatever the job at hand requires.
For Visiones, this is David Diaz. Hasta la próxima.
su amor, ahí se rinde el más valiente, el más lindo y el mejor. Que fue, el más lindo y el mejor.